So at times, caregiving can be isolating, and I think we've talked about that a lot on this panel. What do you wish, and we'll start with Lyle, what do you wish people knew about your experience as a caregiver that might help them better understand and support you and your family member living with dementia?
Thank you. I think I'll start by just telling a short little story experience that we had. My next door neighbors, we were okay with each other, not really, really close, but they would have dinner here, we'd have dinner there, um, and help each other out, just standard next door neighbor stuff. Um, and then Jerry came down with dementia, and I thought everything was fine. And then, we spent the evening with him one night. And the next day, I get a phone call from him, and he says, you're welcome here anytime, but don't bring Jerry around anymore.
That must have been heartbreaking.
Somewhat. Um, and, that was tough, but not unique. And I mean, I had been with him all evening. She hadn't done anything wrong, but sometimes she'll say stuff that is a little off the wall, not harmful or hurtful or anything, just not necessarily totally related to the current conversation. And it's, I guess, hard for some people. They don't know how to respond to that when she says something that's a little off the wall, and it makes them uncomfortable, apparently. And so his response was just, don't bring her here anymore, because I guess it made him a little uncomfortable. What I want to get across to people is she is still a person. She's still the amazing, wonderful person that she always was. Yeah, she's got a disease, but like it's not harmful. It's not um, anything that you're going to catch. Just a little understanding, a little open mindedness would just go so far to making our life better and making the world better. And, you know, uh, a friend of mine has had a stroke. He's a great guy. When him and I are having lunch together, I have to cut his meat for him. I have to help him with his jacket. So what? He got an issue, and you just look past it. He's still a great guy. By the time you're getting into your 60s, we've all got a diagnosis of some kind, and dementia is just one of them. And I would suspect that this next door neighbor wouldn't say, don't bring someone around that's had a stroke, you know,
Yeah.
and it's no different. So it's just a diagnosis.
And it's not contagious.
And it's not contagious,
You
so
know?
um, it, that's all I'm trying to say is just a little open-mindedness would make the world so much better.
Thank you, Lyle. Yeah, that must have been a heartbreaking experience. And unfortunately, from our conversations, it's not a unique one. It's one that
No.
I think a lot of us have experienced. It's just it's people's inability to be in an uncomfortable situation. Um, Now, Peter, I am going to pass it on to you for an answer, but I did want to welcome your sister Neeleen, who's also joined us. So, um, welcome to the panel, Neeleen.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
Peter, did you want to answer the same question? What do you wish people knew about your experience as a caregiver that would help them better understand and support you and your family?
Yeah, we both can answer that question. But I'll go first, and then my sister can also make an offering to our conversation. I like what you're saying, Lyle, about reminding, like that acknowledgement of people, our loved ones with Alzheimer's and dementia, being people, you know, and that my mom and my uncles and my grandma and my grandma's siblings and my great grandma all lived and died with Alzheimer's. And um, but their story isn't a fixed thing either. Their living isn't fixed. All of our lives are not fixed. My mom continues to move. She continues to be vivacious. She continues to make new experiences uh, for us in the room. And she continues to hold our hands. She continues to um, reach for my sisters and I, for her when we visit her at the care home to help her get ready for bed. She continues to reach for her grandkids who are also visiting her in the nighttime. She continues to smile at our dad uh, when there are those moments and she can actually see him. She smiles at him. And the last time I was there with our family and with her in the care home, our dad came into the room, and we don't put pressure on him to, um, like to be there every night. Um, because what does it feel like to watch the person you've been in love with for 4 years transform in this physical way, you know? But that one night he came, and mom heard his voice, right? And she turned to look, and she just, her face just lifted up, and she said, "Oh, it's you." And the minute we stop, the minute we stop collectively honoring her life and our collective lives, then we lose the chance to have those moments. And those moments actually make us feel more alive.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful moment. I can't even imagine. I get all choked up even thinking about it because, um, I I'm still lucky that my dad still recognizes us, but he does have problems remembering the difference between his child and his grandchildren and his great grandchildren. So sometimes, there is a mix up. Naileen, did you have something to add to Peter's story?
Yes. Um, and it's my brother is such an eloquent speaker that yeah, sometimes he's a little bit challenging to follow. Um, I want to focus on the comments that we've heard about our loved ones. You know, we're all people, right? And I really, sort of encourage and support those comments. So much so that, for me, I think about the changes that our loved ones are experiencing. I'm not thinking about me in this. I'm thinking about my mom, right? Who is dying a little bit every day. And so when I think about the application, like when I think about care, like really truly think about care and the definition of care, to me, it's more than just the physical acts, right? There's also that emotional and spiritual connection. And I think we miss that because we're not doing enough to reflect on and consider what our loved ones are going through every single day, right? And so that's part of what helps me, um, ensure that when I help my mom, I'm giving her care. Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That I you missed our conversation at the very beginning when we were warming up, and I was saying I was at the care home today and dealing with a situation with my dad, and it's exactly that, Nalene. I would like for people to just once not only put themselves in my shoes, but think about me loving somebody who's in the situation they're in and having to watch them and care for them in that situation. And just once think, would you be able to do this? And would you be able to do that if everyone isolated you in the process of doing that? So, on that note, Joe, I would love to have you answer the same question.
Okay. I'd say that I have not personally experienced a lot of discrimination because of this, but we moved here from living overseas for a long time. And so we were just beginning to learn, meet people around here when all of this started. So we weren't really isolated from those people. We didn't know them when we moved here. So, but I do have an extensive family support group spread across North America. And the one thing that's important that I try to get through to them is that this is different for everybody. Everybody's journey is different, and it's kind of a double-edged sword, though. I mean, it's sometimes you tell people that you're dealing with Alzheimer's, and they go, "Oh yeah, my mom had Alzheimer's," and that's regrettable, but that's quite common. But what you see is that the Alzheimer's that your mom had, or the Alzheimer's that your friend had, or the Alzheimer's that your partner is having is all different, because you never know how it's going to affect you. Sometimes it's very quick, sometimes very slow. Amy is slowly losing her mental and physical abilities, and it's terrible. She used to be a global software delivery guru for Shell Oil, juggling 400 balls at once. Now she has trouble with two. So I'm trying to get this through to my family that, what we deal with every day is a constant sense of loss of capabilities and a constant sense, quite often, of the grief associated with that, which is really hard to deal with because once you get used to what's happening, well, it changes and something else is happening. So it's a constant change, which means, of course, you're always tired because you're doing everything. You're doing everything for you and everything for them and everything for you both. And that takes an awful lot of effort. And Amy does as much as she can to help, but you're still tired. So that, even when you get a break, that you feel like you're not doing enough and you should be doing something else. And that, so my family understands these, they understand that I'm going through something, but they don't quite understand the extent of all of that. So the things I wish they knew were that, the things that are good, the things that make your life better are simple things. Call and chat. Come and visit if you can. Most of my family can't, they're too far away, but come and visit. Come talk to Amy. Come take her for a walk. Take her out, take her to a movie, do something, and give her some one-on-one time. because that's what she needs to keep her brain working, is one-on-one time. And to understand that while we love large family gatherings, those are probably the most difficult things we can do, because they're noisy, they're chaotic, they're filled with lots of overlapping conversations that change quickly and things. And that's the last thing you need. So that's what I try to tell my family, and they've actually been very, very good about it. We do talk frequently, so that's one of the things that we've been trying to get through to them. It's help. You know, if you can come over and say hello and give us a few hours of something new, that's great. You know, and if that's something that most people knew, that how tired you are and you know how sad, then it helps you deal with it.
Yeah, because I think it takes you away for just a moment, right? When somebody new or something new comes into the picture, it takes you away for a moment. And even if it's just a moment, it's that moment of being able to breathe, right? And step away from the sadness and look at something new.